Have you ever paused amidst the chaos of today's world and wondered if these tumultuous times are more than just random events? If the relentless cycle of crises, from global pandemics to widespread unrest, might actually be signaling something much larger, something prophesied centuries ago. Today, we embark on a thought-provoking journey, delving into the ancient texts of the Bible to unravel the mysteries of the end times. These are not just stories, they are prophecies that have withstood the test of time. And now, we'll explore if our current global events are indeed the signs that were foretold. Are we merely living through another chapter in history, or are we witnessing the unfolding of the last pages of a story written at the dawn of time? Stay with us as we investigate this intriguing possibility. Are we living in the last days? The concept of the end times, or the last days, is deeply rooted in biblical prophecy, painting a picture of a period marked by turmoil, transformation, and ultimately, redemption. Let's delve into the scriptures to understand these prophecies more clearly. In the book of Revelation, John's vision unveils a series of events filled with symbolic imagery and profound meaning. The four horsemen of the apocalypse represent conquest, war, famine, and death, illustrating the turmoil that the world will face. This vivid portrayal compels us to reflect on the current state of global conflicts, hunger crises, and widespread disease, and to question if these could be the manifestations of the horsemen's ride across the earth. Turning to the book of Daniel, we encounter the prophecy of the rise of a figure known as the Antichrist, a leader who will deceive many with promises of peace, but ultimately bring destruction. This prophecy warns of a time when moral decay and the rejection of truth will prevail, leading many to wonder if today's global political calamity and the rise of deceptive leaders could be a reflection of this ancient warning. The Gospel of Matthew also speaks of signs in the heavens and on earth, earthquakes, famines, and widespread unrest. These events are described as the beginning of birth pains, indicating a period of suffering and change leading up to the end. While it's crucial to approach these texts with discernment, the parallels between the biblical prophecies and our current global situation are striking. The convergence of these signs prompts us to ponder deeply. Are these mere coincidences, or are we indeed witnessing the unfolding of events that were prophesied to herald the end times? As we continue our exploration, let's keep these questions in mind, seeking understanding and clarity in a world that seems to mirror the tumultuous times described in ancient scriptures. In our quest to comprehend the signs of the end times, it's essential to juxtapose the ancient prophecies with the current tapestry of global events. Today's world is a complex web of interconnected crises and challenges that, when viewed through the lens of biblical prophecy, evoke deep contemplation. Wars and rumors of wars have long been part of human history, yet the scale and intensity of modern conflicts seem to resonate profoundly with the biblical forewarning of nations rising against nations. From the persistent tensions in the Middle East to the unsettling rumblings of new global power struggles, the echoes of ancient prophecies in these conflicts are hard to ignore. Natural disasters, too, have escalated in both frequency and ferocity. Earthquakes, hurricanes, and wildfires ravage our planet with an intensity that seems to mirror the biblical depiction of nature's upheaval in the last days. These events not only cause immediate destruction, but also set off a domino effect, leading to famine, displacement, and immense human suffering. Then there's the phenomenon of global pandemics, like the recent COVID-19 crisis, which has brought nations to their knees, disrupted economies, and instilled fear worldwide. These events starkly remind us of the biblical prophecies of pestilence and plague, compelling us to wonder if we are indeed witnessing the fulfillment of these ancient warnings. Moreover, the social fabric of our world is under immense strain. Unrest, division, and the erosion of moral and ethical values are rampant, mirroring the scriptural predictions of societal decay and the rise of lawlessness in the end times. While it's not our place to declare definitively that these events are the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. The parallels are striking and warrant serious reflection. In this complex mosaic of global turmoil, the words of ancient prophecies seem to find a haunting echo, urging us to consider the possibility that we might indeed be living in the times foretold long ago. As we proceed, let's keep our minds open and our hearts attuned to the deeper implications of the world we live in today. As we continue to explore the possibility of living in the end times, it's not only the tangible events like wars and natural disasters that draw our attention, but also the less visible, yet equally significant, shifts in societal values and behaviors. These changes, subtle yet profound, seem to resonate with biblical warnings about the moral and spiritual climate of the last days. One of the most striking signs is the pervasive moral decay that seems to infiltrate every corner of society. The Bible speaks of a time when traditional values and truths would be turned on their head, where right would be called wrong and wrong would be celebrated as right. Today we witness a societal shift where absolute truths are often dismissed and moral relativism is on the rise. This erosion of moral clarity and the blurring of ethical lines echo the scriptural predictions about the state of humanity in the end times. Furthermore, the rise of deception and the proliferation of false prophets are significant signs mentioned in the scriptures. In an age dominated by information and digital communication, discerning truth from falsehood has become increasingly challenging. The spread of misinformation, the manipulation of facts, and the charm of charismatic leaders with misleading agendas resonate with the biblical warnings about being led astray by false teachings and deceptive narratives. Moreover, the Bible talks about a love growing cold and a general apathy towards fellow human beings in the last days. In our current era, despite unprecedented connectivity, we witness a paradoxical increase in isolation, loneliness, and indifference to suffering. The decline of community values and the rise of individualism reflect this chilling prophecy, prompting us to reflect on the depth of our relationships and the warmth of our compassion in these complex times. While these societal trends are open to interpretation, their alignment with the conditions described in biblical prophecies is compelling. They urge us to look beyond the surface of our daily lives and consider the profound spiritual and moral implications of the times we live in. As we ponder these societal shifts, let's maintain a perspective that is both critical and introspective, seeking wisdom and understanding in a world that seems to echo the ancient warnings of the last days. In our exploration of the potential signs of the end times, it's not only the spiritual and societal dimensions that deserve our attention, but also the perspective offered by modern science. Scientific insights into the current state of our world provide a unique lens through which we can view the events and trends that shape our reality. One of the most pressing concerns highlighted by the scientific community is climate change. The alarming rate of global warming, rising sea levels, and the increasing frequency of extreme weather events speak to a planet in distress. While science does not frame these issues within the context of biblical prophecy, the stark reality of a creation groaning under the weight of human exploitation and environmental neglect resonates with the scriptural depiction of natural upheaval in the last days. Furthermore, the loss of biodiversity and the extinction of species are red flags raised by scientists, pointing to an imbalance in the very fabric of life on Earth. The rapid decline in wildlife populations and the destruction of natural habitats may not be explicitly mentioned in biblical texts, but they contribute to the overall portrait of a world facing unprecedented challenges, reminiscent of the turmoil prophesied for the end times. Global health issues, particularly the emergence and spread of pandemics, are another area where scientific perspectives intersect intriguingly with biblical prophecies. The scientific community's efforts to understand and combat diseases like COVID-19 are a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Yet the widespread impact of these diseases, the fear they instill, and the profound changes they bring about in societies worldwide echo the forewarnings of plagues and pestilence found in the Scriptures. While science and biblical prophecy speak in different languages and stem from different worldviews, the parallels between the conditions described by both are striking. The state of the world, as portrayed by scientists, seems to mirror the turmoil and distress predicted in the end times. It's important to approach this intersection of science and Scripture with a balanced perspective, acknowledging the contributions of scientific understanding, while also pondering the spiritual implications of the challenges we face. As we continue our journey, let's keep in mind that the signs of the times may be reflected not just in the spiritual and societal realms, but also in the very fabric of our physical world, and the insights provided by those dedicated to studying it. While we've delved into the alignment of current events with biblical prophecies and scientific observations, it's crucial to acknowledge the spectrum of views that exist on the topic of the end times. These differing perspectives enrich the conversation, inviting us to engage in critical thinking and respectful dialogue. Among the skeptics, there's a viewpoint that cautions against interpreting contemporary events as signs of the end times. Critics argue that every generation has faced its own set of challenges and crises, many of which were seen as harbingers of the end. They emphasize the risk of confirmation bias, where one might selectively interpret events to fit a prophetic narrative, rather than objectively assessing the situation. Moreover, there are diverse religious beliefs and interpretations of the end times within and across different faith traditions. Some may interpret the signs metaphorically, viewing the end times not as a literal unfolding of events, but as a symbolic representation of spiritual or moral decline and renewal. Others might believe in a more literal fulfillment of the prophecies, but disagree on the specifics or the timing. In addition to religious interpretations, there's also a secular perspective that considers the current global challenges as part of the natural cycle of human history and the evolution of the planet. This viewpoint emphasizes the importance of human agency and the potential for innovation and adaptation in addressing the world's problems. Engaging with these contrasting views is essential, not only for a more comprehensive understanding of the topic, but also for fostering a culture of open-mindedness and respectful discourse. It encourages us to question our assumptions, to critically analyze the information we receive, and to be vigilant against the allure of sensationalism or fear-mongering. As we navigate through these diverse perspectives, let's remain anchored in a spirit of humility and inquiry, recognizing that the journey to understanding is paved with questions, reflections, and a willingness to listen to voices different from our own. The conversation about the end times is not just about looking for signs. It's also about cultivating wisdom, discernment, and a deeper connection with the world around us. In contemplating the signs of the end times and the myriad perspectives surrounding them, it's important to turn our gaze inward, reflecting on the personal implications of living in such transformative times. This introspection is not about succumbing to fear or getting lost in the maze of predictions, but about understanding our own place and preparedness in the face of life's uncertainties. Personal reflection is a powerful tool in these times. It invites us to examine the foundation of our beliefs, the strength of our convictions, and the depth of our spiritual life. In a world brimming with distractions and noise, taking a moment to be still and introspect can provide clarity and peace. It's an opportunity to ask ourselves profound questions. Are we living in alignment with our deepest values? Are our hearts and minds anchored in something unshakable amid life's storms? Preparedness, both spiritual and physical, is another crucial aspect to consider. Spiritually, it's about nurturing a resilient faith that can withstand doubts and fears. It involves engaging with our spiritual practices, seeking wisdom in sacred texts, and fostering a community that supports and uplifts each other. Physically, it's about being prudent and wise, ensuring that we are ready to face challenges, whether they are personal tribulations or wider societal crises. It's essential, however, to approach preparedness with a balanced perspective. While it's wise to be prudent and proactive, we must guard against the pitfalls of anxiety and paranoia. Preparedness should not lead to isolation or a bunker mentality, but should be coupled with a spirit of generosity and a commitment to support and serve those in need. As we reflect on our personal journey and prepare for the future, let's do so with hope, not fear. The narrative of the end times, while filled with signs of turmoil, ultimately points towards a horizon of redemption and renewal. In this light, our personal reflection and preparedness become acts of faith, affirming our belief in a future where peace and justice prevail. Let this journey of reflection and preparedness be a transformative one, guiding us to live with purpose, compassion, and an unwavering hope for the future, whatever it may hold. As we draw our exploration to a close, let's pause and reflect on the journey we've embarked upon. We've traversed the landscape of ancient prophecies and contemporary global events, weaving through the tapestry of spiritual insights, societal trends, scientific perspectives, and the rich diversity of viewpoints that surround the concept of the end times. We began by delving into the biblical prophecies, uncovering the profound and often unsettling visions presented in scriptures. From the vivid imagery of the Four Horsemen in Revelation to the forewarnings of wars, natural disasters, and moral decay, these ancient texts have painted a picture of a world in turmoil, a world that, in many ways, mirrors our own. Our journey then led us to the current global events, the wars, the pandemics, the natural catastrophes that resonate with the biblical signs of the end times. We saw how the unfolding of these events compels us to question and reflect, to look beyond the surface and consider the deeper spiritual and existential implications. We also examined the shifts in societal values and behaviors, observing how the erosion of moral foundations and the rise of deception and indifference align with the prophetic warnings about the state of humanity in the last days. Science, too, provided a unique lens through which we viewed our world, with its insights into climate change, biodiversity loss, and global health challenges. Though not a confirmation of prophecy, the parallel between the scientific state of the world and the turmoil predicted for the end times was striking. Amidst these reflections, we also recognize the importance of embracing diverse perspectives, engaging with the views of skeptics, believers of different faiths, and the secular community. This dialogue enriched our understanding and reminded us of the value of critical thinking and open-hearted discourse. Finally, we turned inward, contemplating the personal significance of these times. We discussed the importance of personal reflection, spiritual and physical preparedness, and the need to approach the future with a balance of prudence and hope. In concluding this journey, we're reminded that the discussion about the end times is not just an intellectual exercise. It's a call to live consciously, to anchor our lives in values that transcend the turmoil, and to nurture a spirit of resilience, compassion, and hope. Whether we stand on the brink of the prophesied last days or simply at another crossroads in the long journey of humanity, the call to live with purpose and hope remains ever relevant. Let this exploration be a catalyst for deeper reflection, inspiring us to engage with our world and with each other in more meaningful and transformative ways.